work in the dirt. You can keep your wings clean. All work in the dirt. You can keep your wings clean. All work in the dirt. You can keep your wings clean. All work in the dirt. We don't cope, we destroy. Motherfucker, move back. We don't cope. Nope, never. We destroy. We don't cope. Nope, never. We destroy, motherfucker.
So what do you guys think about the result of 212s?
I think it was right.
Yeah.
Sean looked phenomenal. Was he like 5'2"?
Yeah.
And there's that much muscle packed on that frame. He looks like a little
Did you see
miniature
that?
flower.
Did you see them when they were giving the trophies out? They put Brian Shaw. That's like,
Why would you do that?
Why?
Someone-
Yeah, why?
Why would you do that? Someone did that as a wind-up. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Somehow, he's what, about my height, if not shorter, 5'6", 5'7", I reckon. And then Sean 5'2", and then Brian in the middle. What is he like? Fucking
Brian's like literally 7 foot tall. Like actually, like he's 200 kilos, or he was.
Yeah, I felt like a child standing next to him. Imagine
Yeah.
what Sean felt like.
Yeah, he came to Trojan and shook my whole arm. I was like, "Hey," and he was like, and then he opened his mouth and was like, "Hey guys."
His hands are fucking huge, aren't they? Like shovels.
I had to work in Expo once, and he came and sat next to me. I just looked down, and his shoe was like this big. I was like, "Where the fuck did you get shoes?" He was like, "Ugh, it's a nightmare. I think I'm specially made." And all he did was sat there and moaned. His back hurts, everything hurts. He hates the Expo. And then some fans come out, and a big smile on his face. How you doing, guys?
Yeah.
Like an actual giant, isn't it?
He's like a size 17, isn't he?
Stupid. I don't know what the fuck it was. It was bigger than my whole leg.
Oh fuck me. But yeah, in terms of doing a breakdown on the Olympia, we can just use the buys and tries thing. Obviously, we've got plenty to talk about. But
Do we remember what our predictions were?
yeah, in the 2 and 2, we were close. I think we said we had Kamal and Angel swapped round. We had Sean, Kamal, then Angel, and that was kind of it really from the 2 and 2, wasn't it? We didn't go any further.
Yeah, we only went top 3, and then for the
I don't think anybody predicted the Open.
Way off.
Yeah.
So let's dive into that. What's your thoughts?
Oh fuck me! It's like, I mean, it was Rami's to lose, and he fucking lost it, didn't he? He didn't just lose it; he lost it spectacularly. Like he
was graced. He was graced his placing.
Yeah,
he shouldn't have even been that high, to be honest. He should have been behind Samson.
Yeah, I felt bad for Samson, to be honest, because he was like the turn up for me, and yeah, he should have been that 5th spot.
I think if Samson improves like he has been for not very much longer, he could actually win.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Good call. His frame and the amount of muscle, and he's just getting started.
Just how he's still getting better and better, like not just a bit, like a lot.
Yeah.
Like in between shows somehow just getting fucking massive.
Yeah. Well, he's doing the Arnold now, isn't he? And the Arnold's only in like, what, 12 weeks?
You're right.
Yeah. So it's like he's going to see that prep all the way through now. That sounds terrible to me, but it's a good shout, I think, because the top 5 will already have qualified for the Olympia. So they probably have no desire to do the Arnolds. He's the next in line. That gets him an early qualification for the Olympia then, doesn't it? So
yeah, and then he can actually put some off time in, and yeah, what he's going to do is just going to be outrageous, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's start with the top guys and work our way down. Okay.
Let me just share the screen then. So let me just this one. You guys see that?
Yeah, man.
Okay. Let me get rid of that. So, top 5.
Buy some ball bags.
So I think Hadi has been overlooked for the last God knows how many years because he comes in like fucking granite. Okay, he's not got the nicest shape, but the amount of muscle on his frame is fucking ridiculous. His quads are just crazy. But the hardness and the graniteness of his fucking condition is unbeatable. I'm really happy to see him win this year. Like he It was so close between him and Derek. They got different physiques. Derek's a much nicer shape, but Hadi's condition. Fuck me. He just found it every time.
Hadi pipped him from the front. I think from the back they were almost identical.
Literally.
And then from the front, Hadi just his legs would stand out, which is weird because Derek is known for having massive quads. And like you said, although Hadi's leg shape isn't great, it just still blew it out.
I think Derek's leg look bigger because the shapes are beautiful and his waist is so tiny, where Hadi's waist is a little on the blocky side, but it's just fucking ton of muscle on his quads, isn't it? It's crazy.
The thing that was going round, obviously, like the most thing was about like everyone was talking about the condition. And I mean, apart from lay down, this is one of the best Olympias that's happened for fucking ages. Like we had the dark times where Sean Roden won, which was pretty shit. Brandon Curry's win was pretty shit that year. I'm not saying the top won't, but this was thick as fuck, and it was one of the best Olympias. And the condition this year overall, I thought, was vastly improved. I do think it is quite strange how a lot of them are still a little bit soft in the back, but have striated glutes.
Yeah.
It always used to be the other way around, didn't it? Because like Dorian didn't really have like striated glutes; they were squared off, but his lower back was like.
How are they doing this? Because I always found it fucking hard to get my very lower back and my glutes striated, and when I did, I'd wither away to nothing. So what are they doing? Is it just a bit of water on their back or what? Like,
well, I mean, hormonally, everyone holds it differently, don't they? But it seemed to be across the board. Somehow glutes were in. And is it because people are now targeting glutes more? That's definitely happening more.
Yeah.
Maybe they're bigger, and so they come in. Obviously, it's easier to condition something that's bigger.
So are we going down that rabbit hole of John Hodgson and their rants about how shit this Olympia was? They reckon.
Well, I mean, just I'm a massive old school fan, but it was not shit.
I know there's so many caveats to like all these photos from the old school, right? They were taken with a fucking Kodak disposable photo camera and like particular lighting. These guys were a lot smaller back then. Exception to the rule is the likes of Dorian. And these guys were like absolutely annihilating themselves to get into that sort of condition, but they weren't holding the same level of tissue. So it's not really comparable. Dorian is the exception, but then if you're going to compare a modern day bodybuilder with Dorian, you got to compare Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah,
you can't compare like it's
fucking bollocks. Because you go back then to the golden era. There were loads of people on stage people don't talk about who were massive and they was bloated and they was fucking shit. So you had the top 10 and the top 5 who was in incredible condition. We're getting that now.
Yeah.
Look at the top 5 this year. That's a pretty fucking stacked lineup, isn't it?
Yeah.
Guys coming out of the top 10 are potentials to be Mr. Olympia in the future.
And apart from anything else, is like, okay, like this, let's say that physiques have been a little bit softer. This was definitely a step forward. So I don't understand why we weren't going, good, this is there, and then maybe trajectory. I think Hollingshead made a good point because he was saying that like the criteria is slightly different now. Like it used to be kind of more, if you weren't fully in condition, you were just deleted. And now it's like, if you don't have the shape and the size, then you're just deleted. So I think whereas like people would usually rather come in a bit flat to make sure that they're definitely not spilled, people are playing safe the other way to not get deleted. But the guys in the top 5 or whatever seem to just fucking nail it. Yeah, a little bit on the lower back. I don't know why. Maybe it's just genetics. But the glutes and that were in, the hamstrings were fucking 3D. I think if we're going to pick one area, I'm pretty sure we could talk about like Dorian, who was inside out. Obviously, I'm a massive Dorian fan, but he didn't have the type of muscles in his legs that were striated just genetically, and he didn't really have the type of muscles in in his glutes that were striated, but there was nothing there. There was a pinch there. I don't think that they're not in condition. They look dry. Had he looked dry as fuck, he was inside out.
A lot of them striations are that's purely down to genetics, isn't it? If you take somebody like David Henry, 212 competitor, his back, every fucking muscle on his back has got striated everywhere. Yeah. Most people would never have that. They can never have that. You're born with those genetics. So if you've got striations across your fucking glutes like a Flex Lewis, and it gets peeled, then it's game over in that department.
So how much do we think these older guys piping up? How much do you think they genuinely believe what they're saying, or how much is it? Do you reckon they just think they're getting forgotten, so they need some airtime?
I think a lot of that, yeah. I mean, it's probably a little bit bitter because, they're in that old era, so you don't really hear them say much nice things about the new era is coming. And bodybuilders changed a lot, and I can be a little bit like that in ways because I don't like some of the directions that our industry's gone in. But we got to get with the times and see how it's changing, it's evolving.
This was a step in the right direction this year, I thought. And if we look at like the thickness, the top 10 were completely interchangeable. It would only take one of them to have fucked it up a little bit. And we're talking not a difference between first and second, we're talking first and fifth. It's these little slip-ups, any little touches of a slip-up, and you were dropping not just one place, you were dropping hard.
Look at Ramy going from first spot. He dropped a lot because he came off.
Oh, yeah. There's and Andrew Jack, the biggest disappointment.
Yeah, in all fairness, for his first ever Olympia, I don't think he looked bad, but he didn't look any different to the shows that he won earlier this year.
Absolutely amazing. He is absolutely amazing. He is. I was never doubted that. Was he the next Ronnie Coleman that was going to win it this year? I think anyone who said that is a fucking moron. Like that.
But he could be that.
Yeah, like maybe one day, but the people that were hyping it, like, yeah, he's going to go and smoke it, obviously don't know fucking anything.
Yeah, I mean, his frame, his muscle build, he's got all the tools needed to be a Mr. Olympia.
Where did Ian come?
Time, yeah.
Ian placed, I think it was 9th or 10th. Let me just check. It's in the results here. I know he was like third call out, was he?
Look at Ramy's sheen there. It's bad.
Oh no, he came outside. He was 11th.
He was outside of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, 8th for Andrew Jack is still fucking unbelievable. See as well, like the contrast. Some of these photos on here are shit.
Yeah.
Like so shit. Oh mate, does anyone else like? I'm sure Blessing is actually like a funny guy, like a nice guy, but he fucks me off so much.
Yeah. Some people were saying like, I love what you did in the press conference and all that. You brought this hype, you brought this. It done my fucking head in. I couldn't watch him. I was like, shut your fucking mouth. Let's talk.
But I just knew that he wasn't going to deliver. I just knew. So I was like, your level of trash talk is first place. But your actual placing is like, you could just wait a little bit longer until you're in the top 5 and then start talking shit.
And this fucking mutant stood there and he starts ripping into him like he's going to blow him away.
What was that? The guy on the left, what's his name?
Mike Crezo.
Yeah, like he just got naked in like the press conference, didn't he? They were all like, I guess he doesn't speak much English, so everyone was like talking and he was just like, you fuck this.
What'd you think of him?
I mean, look, here it is. Look at that picture there on the left. Like, look at it stand alone. Look at that picture. And you're like, that's top 3. Mm-hmm. And then you put him in a lineup and he just disintegrates. On his own there, even in that picture, it's like a white Phil Heath.
Yeah.
But like
a lot of work to do, anyway. But you see that the size of his arms, just the size of him all over it. And he's still got quite a nice, pretty shape considering how big he is.
If I could take one thing off him, it would be his tiny head.
Oh, mate, yeah.
I'd look huge.
Do you reckon that's what it is? It's like that's why when he's on his own, he looks that massive because he's got utter PS.
I got a tiny head as well. So.
And then he's stuck. It's not that level though, mate. Look at it.
He's probably got a big fat head next to me. He's that big.
Mate, he's literally like he's like the head shrinkers. Like,
Yeah. Do you ever watch Men in Black when they shot his head off? And
yeah, or the Mario Brothers. Do you remember the old Mario Brothers film?
Yes, yeah.
It did actually look a lot like Phil Heath. Actually, I thought in the head, in the face. Yeah, Blessing was just wank, unfortunately.
Brandon's
still
really good, but his legs just look knackered.
Yeah.
I've never been a big fan of Brandon. I could look at his physique because wow, absolutely amazing, beautiful lines, beautiful shape, but he never does it for me. He still always looks a little too soft, a little overcarved.
I think his upper looks fucking amazing.
In some shots, I'm like, oh my god, he's fucking.
Yeah, like his most muscular shot, all his shoulders are all striated, and then somehow it just, I don't know whether it's his age. I mean, he's never had great legs, but they just, like, it's not even like they're not cut, they just look pissed off.
Yeah.
They just look fucked off. Like, why am I here? Why did you bring me here? You know.
Do you think they need additional enhancement closer to the show? Is that why?
Well, not where Rami's accidentally like created cellular death in the middle of his quad somehow.
I know, what the fuck. And do you know we talked about him not doing the taking his trousers off in guest posing, didn't we? About I mentioned it on the last podcast that people were getting a bit suspicious, and that kind of clearly shows why. Like, what the fuck does that even come from?
So has he got tears in his quads, or are they holes like from oversight injection? Is that a lot of scar tissue?
It looks like the bit he missed out, doesn't it? for 10 years. But it was a little bit of a dip like 5 years ago. I saw some comparisons with him like 5 years ago when he was like coming up, and he's definitely like worse a lot.
You think it's scar tissue?
I don't know. Yeah, it looks like he's like something's happened and like the blood flow is fucked or something, or like because he's got all the money in the world to have deep tissue to try and like sort something out. He's got these craters in there. So I mean, yeah, it could have been a tear. I mean, if you look at Rami here, you can see it clearly. They've like pulled off,
yeah,
like, you know, from the medialis there. It just looks weird. I mean, I actually do have a similar line in that position.
Same.
But like usually a lot of deep tissue will kind of bring that out. But that just looks like something weird has happened. I don't see how a leg can be that shape.
Because his quads are so fucking big, you're drawn to that area, aren't you? So you can't get away from it.
I don't think.
And then his arms look down.
Yeah, I don't think that was the nail in his coffin. If you look at him there, you can see his arms. His triceps are a lot smaller, and then from the back, he wasn't even able to get his lats out, was he? And then people were saying, "Oh, his lower back was missing." I think it was a bit of both. Like the fact that he couldn't even get his lats out, so he just made his lower back look like he didn't.
Do you think it was that, or do you think he's got like a nerve issue, like in his thing? Because it looked his lat insertion seemed to have like raised about 6 inches.
But they're still symmetrical the way they've gone up together. It's a bit weird. Normally, if you get like
it's usually one side atrophy, isn't it?
It's very strange. Well, I mean, it's such a fucking shitty, horrible sport, isn't it? These guys are the best in the world, and we sat here ripping these little holes and bits in their fucking muscles.
Well,
they're doing everything they possibly can to be their best.
Yeah, he didn't look like that on a fucking show day.
No, he didn't. Yeah, I mean, you know, we're commenting as fans, you know, and it's not like we're saying we wanted them to be shit, you know. We want them all to be able to bring the best. It's just that when we've seen Hadi come in, like when he got his first win, everyone was like, yeah, okay, that's serious. You did it. And he looked like a fucking horse from the side. It was that level of size, and he was in fucking amazing nick as well that year. You know, it was something to see. And then, I mean, I thought he was going to retire, to be honest. I never thought he was going to do this year. I thought he was. I thought he was going to duck out
Was that
personally.
Hardy?
No. I thought Rami.
Oh, right, okay.
I thought Rami was going to
There was
duck.
a bit of talk, wasn't there? Like he doesn't want it no more, and blah blah blah, and his head wasn't in it. But I see living styles of training. Like Rami, his country's awesome, but do you think they just wrap him in cotton wool a bit too much, give him everything, and he's kind of spoon fed when you look at his training and everything compared to Hadi? Hadi's fucking suffered.
I just
I'm
think
so happy they give it to somebody that's worked so fucking hard.
And his training is completely fucking insane. He's doing like 6 plates aside, fucking double figures and beyond. Like,
I don't know if this is going to come across like rude or not, but I just think that Hadi's physique is genuine and would look like that if you looked at him at any point in the day. Like Rami has so many variables, and you can never tell which body part he's recently enhanced. You can never tell how much of what's there is site enhancement, how much of it is actual genuine muscle. He's such a massive guy. I think this like such a variable in how Rami can look, like so shit to so fucking good, that Hadi is the guy who would look exactly the same at any time of the day.
it does look like that. Although Lee Priest reckons Hadi's shoulders are part of the oil crisis.
Yeah, that's what he said, didn't he?
I mean, I still like the thing with the enhancement. I'm still in like denial about it. I'm like, surely no one's done it. I think Tom Hames like did quite a blasé post about using, what was it, Mediform.
Yeah.
About like if you've trained and it's not big, then fire it in. Bikini girls are doing it in their glutes, and I was like, are they? Because I've never heard of that. But I mean, he's a coach, so obviously some people are doing that.
The way I see it, like the way I've always trained is really heavy, loads of just smash your body to pieces, and over time you get this granity hard look, and you bring the condition, and that muscle's there, it's real muscle, and that's what I see with Hadi. He's the way the style of his training. Like he doesn't weigh a lot, but look at him. Oh my God, the amount of fucking muscle on him. He doesn't weigh much because there's no fucking water there. There's no softness in the muscle. He's rock hard. He's granite. He's real muscle, just like Dorian back in the day. Then you stand next to Brandon. The way I see, for Brandon to get his legs through, he would have to come in super dry, and he would downsize, and all that bloat would lose, and I think he would lose a massive amount of his size and wouldn't look very impressive to get that condition through. Because I see more like a soft bloated look. And I'm not saying they're not training hard, but they're not training like Hadi with those kind of reps and those kind of weights. It's all push, pump, kind of just flood the muscle with blood, and then they come in, they use a lot of test, and they're kind of, I mean, you see there's no fat there. They hit a pose, all the muscles there, the striations there, but there's that layer of fucking water over the skin. To me, it always looks soft.
Yeah, I mean, that is that what Johnny was saying about Hadi is that being that size and kind of being of that kind of physique is like, if you mess it up a little bit, you can go from great to dog shit. Whereas like Hadi's variable window is going to be small.
Yeah, he's going to be hard for him to fuck it up. The worst going to happen, he's going to hold a little bit of water, but he's not going to lose any size because there's no more to lose. All the water's out.
Yeah, no,
it looked bigger but softer.
I thought Bonac was my biggest disappointment because I'm a huge Bonac fan.
What happened?
Well, he was just looked completely out of shape.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what happened, what he did it, but it didn't even look like he'd fucked it up. It looked like why haven't you dieted?
Yeah. I mean, like before the Olympia, people were shouting out top 5. Some people even saying Bonac's going to win the Olympia. And I thought, well, I don't think he's going to quite do that far, but I'd like to have seen him in the top 5.
I mean,
I was taking your steer when we were doing the prediction. You guys were like, "Yeah, we'll put like 5th or 6th Bonac's in the conversation." Based on his trend in the recent years, I couldn't really But based on the fact that he had a point to prove, we were kind of hoping that would be enough.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all of the minerals to do it. He's come so close before. I was like, and I just think Bonac on is fucking hard to beat. But he was like so
You think of
far off.
his stature, he should have been in that call out with Hardy and Derek, shouldn't he? Really, if you look at his stature and these come from the 2-1-2 and all that good stuff, ultimately that should have been the top 3 call out.
Yeah,
but yeah,
what do you guys think of? We all know Ramy come on and he was off. He didn't look anywhere near his best way.
He should have been 8th.
Do you think it was a bit disrespectful and just chucking him to the one side, and he didn't even get one comparison in the middle?
Well, he got 5th. He got 5th. Like ultimately, they were sending Samson back to the second call out to check that he was worthy of that 6th spot when it should have been Ramy being sent back.
I think Ramy should have been gone and put in the middle of the second call out. Personally, I think that they don't like to drop people that hard, and I'm pretty sure it looked like Ramy was there for obligations to sponsors. That's what it looked like to me. Like you said, the love for it maybe had dwindled. I'm pretty sure that in himself he would have looked at that and gone, "This isn't better. I don't want to do this." And they would have been like, "Yeah, tough shit, mate, because that's what you're going to do."
Do you think he had a lot of people around him blowing smoke up his ass, saying, "Yes, you're bigger than ever, you're the best ever," and you
100%,
being told?
100%. Isn't that Oxygen Jim's like motto?
Yeah, and the way they treat him, he's like a king, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Amazing. He's a big time celebrity over there.
Yeah, they're not fucking around. Like he is the Will Smith of bodybuilding.
like it's amazing anyway. You say like this country, even America to a degree, but this country, Dorian was 6 times Mr. Olympia. How many people in this country even know who Dorian is? If they don't bodybuild?
Even bodybuilders, even people that bodybuilders, they're like, "Cool, do you know Dorian Yates is? Have you watched Blood and Guts?" And they're like, "Who's Dorian Yates?" And you're like, "Cool." And they were like, "Have you heard of Two Bros?" And you're like, "Yeah, okay, well, they're 2 bros, and then win 2 bros, and then get the qualification, and win the pro card. Then when you're a pro, then win the whole pro show, then go to the Olympia, and then win the Olympia." Oh, okay, no.
Do that 6 times.
Yes, and do that 6 times. But, and they're like, "Oh, so he was quite good." I was like, "Yeah."
You say like, "Who's Mr. Olympia?" and everyone's like, "Sebum."
Oh no, that's the biggest one at the moment, isn't it? But did you see Hardy's reception? Hardy's reception back home. He was treated like a king again. So that's just how those countries are, isn't it? And it's how it should be. I mean, obviously, we had Kamal on the podcast, and he talked about how he essentially got paid to stay amateur out in out in that region, because ultimately they love bodybuilding that much, and they essentially keep all the top guys amateur and have a real sort of. It's mental because I don't think people understand how good the amateurs are out there. They just
he was saying he'd won the 212 at that point, hadn't he? And he was saying that he basically lost money by deciding to go and turn pro.
Yeah.
Because as an amateur, they paid for his family housing, they paid for him, they paid for all of his food, they paid for everything. Not just him, not just he was looked after, his whole family were looked after as an amateur. He said he wanted to do the IFBB, and it fucked him financially, but that was his dream. That's what he wanted to do. But he would have been in a much better position. I mean, probably regrets it at this point.
Yeah. It's like this. The thing, this country is fucking shit for sports and all. I mean, football you get paid a lot of money, but anything like bodybuilding, it's not even considered or seen as a sport. We just get the shit end of the stick. When I competed, I did the Arnold in America. It cost me about £3,000. You get a penny, didn't even get a fucking certificate. And then I stood there next to the likes of people like Sammy, who I heard was getting $35,000 a month from his country when he was amateur. It was unbelievable. How have we got a chance? It's fucking
well, even in the Olympics, the British Olympic team don't get paid fucking anything.
Yeah. It just sickens me.
So on to another one, another ex-guest, Derek Lunsford. That was exactly what we wanted to see from him, wasn't it? And you don't think he could have made
He
it.
wasn't lying. He wasn't lying. I thought when he was like, yeah, no, the thing is, I just dipped down too much, but really, as soon as I unleash, I'll be massive. And I was thinking, well, maybe. And it was true.
Definitely,
It was
definitely.
true.
Yeah,
Derek was the biggest shocker to me, seeing that he was fucking incredible. And if I had his condition was unbelievable, but if they give it Derek, it would have been like, well, you can see it could have went either way.
Yeah.
He's got a beautiful shape with that much muscle on the frame like that.
Do you remember everyone was so fucked off that he got like a special invite? I was like, but he's won the Olympia, and they were like, 212, it's not a real thing. I'm like,
yeah.
And I was like, I bet if it was C-Bum, they'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be bumming him.
It'd be C-Bum. Don't get me wrong, like Chris Bumstead is the Flex Lewis of classic. Like
phenomenal, but you can't put him on the Olympia stage.
No, but you can't. But that's the thing, is that no one can beat him unless he becomes shit, because he's like the thing that everyone compares to. It's like, no, that's what it should be. Now everyone else try and do that, and so as long as he's around, like everyone's fine. It's like Flex Lewis. Well, there's a man with bird bones. He's somehow weighs 212. That's what we want. Everyone else try and look like that. Oh, you can't do it. Oh, never mind. So C-Bum's gonna be the classic physique like champion until his fucking leg falls off.
Yeah, but
overall look is phenomenal, isn't it? Like
it is, right? And we can't knock the look. It is classic bodybuilding, and that is an amazing look, like a look none of us could achieve. But let's not forget, a lot of these classic bodybuilding fucking fans don't honestly believe that he can stand in the open and push these guys. Like, no, it's not the same thing.
I've seen like some comparisons where they've like somehow C-Bum is zoomed in so that he's 9 foot tall, and they've put him next to like an open guy,
same size as Nick Walker.
Yeah, and it's just no. I mean, but talking about the evolution, I was thinking about the evolution of just everything. Like classic physique was supposed to be like Arnie's era. Like C-Bum's much bigger than Arnie. Like the legs are much bigger. Like everything's much bigger. Like the conditions much harder. So that's evolved, and bodybuilding's evolved. We're in this timeline. You know, classic physique isn't Arnie's era. It's now after. Do you know what I mean? It's in this window, classic.
In 10 years, they're gonna have to bring out another class in 10 years now.
Yeah, but it's like when we talk about like the 80s now, is like when you were young, someone talking about the 40s. It's hard to fathom when you're in it, doesn't it? Because you remember being told about the 40s when you were a kid, and you're like, ha, no, that doesn't exist. And like that's the 80s. It's like, so the 70s is just unfathomable so we're on a timeline of what is classic, you know. What is classic now? Fucking Beyonce, I guess. Like, you know.
Did you see the video of the men's physique guys backstage pumping up? They were fucking huge. It's like, come on. Yeah,
the classic physique guys are like actually wouldn't even make the weight cap for classic physique, some of them.
Yeah. Some of and that's the thing, is like you've got the likes of that Neil Curry now. He's stepping up to the open, isn't he? Because did you watch any of his YouTube series and stuff, and the stuff he had to do to get down? He was still like 15 pound over the day before.
Horrific. I mean, I think that the jump is a brave jump, especially when you've had such like a successful kind of career and as phenomenal as Neil is. You're kind of relying on something that you don't know that could completely fuck you. Like, you're like hoping that you can basically put on 30 pounds of muscle. And that's what you're...
And to try and do it in such a short time, you're just going to blow your waist out.
You never know. Derek Lunsford did it.
Well, come on, he already had that muscle, didn't he? He was walking around off season way above 212, I'm guessing. But,
no, I know, but I think obviously you look at...
How has your mic suddenly just gone shit?
Is it shit now? Yeah.
Maybe you're closer to it. you're emotional about this.
Maybe.
Mufflers.
It's a new microphone, so I'll have to figure it out. But yeah, so Neil was talking about how he had to lose like 15 pounds like the day before. So if you think about it, he'd been digging that hole for some time. So he's probably, got the potential to be a lot bigger just by default. Never mind adding more tissue as well on top of that.
But that's no. I mean, I hope he can. I just from a perspective of someone of just it's a gamble, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But then you think about it, he's probably losing the enjoyment, isn't he? If you're having to lose so much weight to get in and look worse than you can look, there's only so many times you can do that.
Well, I mean, the third thing. What's worse is like C-Bum. He can't evolve because he just needs to come the same. And so, yeah, I get if you're a bodybuilder, what is your goal? What's your motivation? It's to improve, isn't it? And so to come back and your goal is to basically, because, what does Neil have to do? Well, I need to try and take some of my leg gains and put it on my arms or something. He's just trying to like shape shift. Like that's all he's going to be able to do, isn't it? And as a bodybuilder, if you just want to get bigger and better, don't you? And so, yeah, I think from a personal like view, he just probably wants to just evolve, and I completely get that. Completely understand why you would do that. It's a gamble, isn't it? I hope it does.
There's a few people in that conundrum, isn't there? Especially like you got like Jamie DeRigo. You stand him in the 2-on-2 lineups, he doesn't look big enough, but he's close to the weight cap. So you got the likes of Jamie. Then obviously he's like mid-30s now or early 30s. Yeah. So to be stepping up to like an open, that's not really on the cards.
Can you push your mic further away from you? I think you're leaning into it, and that's why it's overloading.
Is that better? I don't know.
Yeah, much better.
Okay. But yeah, I think obviously you've got a few people got that particular issue in the UK at the moment. I think obviously I don't know what the limit would be for Jamie to do classic.
Jamie has the least classic physique ever.
Oh, you look at his physique when he turned pro. He had some nice lines. I think it's just he's pushed so hard to get bigger now and catch up with those guys. That's
he could have done he could have. I don't think he can now. I don't know his last outings. I mean, we had him. They were bad. His last outings were bad. The last one was better, but the one before it didn't. I don't know how that happens. I mean, he doesn't do cardio. He trains twice a day. His physique looks like someone who's doing too much. It looks fucked off. And I know he's really, really driven. And I've seen him train. He trains like a fucking animal. He's not fucking about. His physique looked fucked on stage. And you get to a point, you ride the knife edge, don't you? But if you push too hard, you're just going to dissolve. Your body's not going to burn body fat if it's fucked. It has to be still okay. Otherwise it'll just source it from an area that's more nutrient dense, which is muscle. It's easier to break down. You need to signal your body to keep the muscle through training and not like pummel yourself harder than most people are willing to do it. But bodybuilders are tapped. He is definitely tapped. He trains like a fucking animal, and it just looks like he's just pushed too hard, and then to be training twice a day because ultimately don't like doing cardio. For me, I mean, is insane.
I think that was just for that prep.
I didn't like cardio. Many times I dieted and I didn't do any cardio. Just still training once a day, your body is fucked because of bringing the food down more, isn't it?
It was being managed. He was managing his overall volume, and he wasn't just doing like 2 balls out sessions. You know what I mean? But I think ultimately because he is so close to that weight cap, it's when you have to pull down to that limit, your body is going to look tight, isn't it? Because it's been a relentless chore get in there. So I think that's where you look at the likes of Derek Lunsford now. He's had the ability to just relax and go, it doesn't really matter now. And his physique just looks like it's actually completely different.
Well, he brought the condition as well. A lot of the guys that are going to move up, they come in too soft, too bloated. They're pushing to try and stand next to the big guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
How tall is he? Because the amount of muscle on his frame, he looks fucking massive, and I'm guessing he doesn't have to be that heavy to look that big.
But Derek did do it. He won the 212. He completed it.
Yeah, but
He did.
the years leading up to that, he fucked it up more times than he didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's fucking easy. It's certainly not a conundrum at 6'2" I've ever experienced.
Yeah. What class are you? The heaviest one?
Yeah, yeah. Tallest and heaviest, thanks. Yeah, forever. Cool. You look like a twig. I'll just have to wear that for the first 8 years.
Don't worry, I'm in the same boat, and I'm still there 12 years down the line. So screw you.